NFL insiders that work for ESPN, CBS Sports, and many more publications are hinting that a trade of Justin Fields to the New York Giants is heating up, and it might happen in NFL free agency. We're going to break that down on today's show. I'll give you my thoughts on if I think the Giants should pull the trigger on a Justin Fields trade, but make sure you are subscribed, because if the Giants make any moves any time of the year, we're going to get you guys a video as soon as possible. So subscribe and turn your notifications on so you never miss a thing. Today's Giants Now video is brought to you by 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and save $200 off the pod cover. Invest in the rest you deserve. We'll tell you more about 8 Sleep around the corner, but let's talk about Justin Fields. Let's talk about the New York Giants and if a potential trade makes sense for this football team. There have been a lot of people that work across the nation that cover the NFL that have brought up the idea of the Giants trading for Justin Fields. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We'll show you those reports from Dan Graziano, Brian Baldinger, one of my favorite guys that covers this league. But we'll share their thoughts with you in a second. But I said this yesterday, and this was prior to Drew Lock being signed. We'll get to it in a second. The Giants wanted to sign a veteran QB to compete with Daniel Jones, but the price was too high. The average annual value for guys like Gardner Minshew, $12.5 million. Sam Darnold, $10 million. Tyrod Taylor, $9 million. And Jameis Winston, $8.7 million. I said trading a mid-round pick for Justin Fields feels like it could be in play now more than ever. And then my guy, the Giant Insider Podcast and newspaper, who's covered the Giants for over 3 decades now, quote tweeted me and said, "Don't laugh." Not sure why he had to say don't laugh, but he said, "I have heard Fields' name bounced around." I then quote tweeted him and said, "I didn't just say it because it was a thought." He quote tweeted that and said, "I don't tweet anything unless it's a fact," which means there is talk inside the Giants organization about a trade potentially for Justin Fields. I wonder how much the signing of Drew Lock affects that. You know, it seems like with Lock, you're out on Justin Fields, but I don't think he would have said that last night if it wasn't true. Press credentialed for 3 years, the Giants Insider. Follow him on Twitter, 44,000 followers. He's a really nice guy. Brian Baldinger. If you don't know about Baldy's breakdowns, you should get up to speed because he's better than anybody else. I think he's one of the most knowledgeable people that cover this league. He thinks the New York Giants should be interested in a Justin Fields trade. Also, Dan Graziano of ESPN, an NFL beat reporter for them, said that he thinks Justin Fields to the Giants makes a lot of sense, and he thinks the Giants are one of the top destinations to trade for Justin Fields. The question is, does the Drew Lock signing change things? And my thought and answer to that would be, I don't think it really does, because I don't think a 1-year commitment of $5 million at a quarterback position should change how you go about building out this team and how you go about addressing the draft. We've heard from multiple Giants people that the reason or the way that they signed Drew Lock does not change the way that they view the draft. So does Drew Lock signing change the fact that maybe they can get Justin Fields for a 4th-round pick? I don't know. Let's talk about it. You look at what he's done in the NFL so far with the Chicago Bears, and it's kind of been an up-and-down career for Justin. Played 12 games in his rookie year. Then I would say his best year in 2022. I thought he took a little bit of a step back this year. Not a lot of help with him in Chicago. Did kind of get to build on that connection with DJ Moore, but he only played in 13 games, and he wasn't nearly as good of a runner, which is probably his most appealing trait as a player. In 2022, he was the best ball carrier, arguably, in the National Football League. He ran in 2023 about 36 times less, but he had half the yardage as well. He was not nearly the dynamic playmaker he was. I don't know if that was Justin saying, I don't want to be a running quarterback. I don't want to take those hits. But for me, if Justin Fields is ever going to be what he wants to be and what people think he is in this league, it's going to have to be a guy that wins from the pocket, throws the ball downfield. He has a big arm. We saw what he did at Ohio State. But he also needs to be a dynamic runner. And Fields fits what Brian Daboll wants. And this was the Giants game against the Bears. It looks kind of like Brian Daboll likes Justin Fields maybe just a little bit. Big arm, athletic, a little rough around the edges, can definitely get better. And I do think that he would work well in his Daboll system. I mean, look, guys, we saw Tommy DeVito look good in this system. It's pretty quarterback friendly. I think it could make Justin Fields probably play the best football of his career. I'm not even the biggest fan of Justin Fields, and you can go on my Twitter and you could see it. I don't really believe in him as a starting quarterback, as a franchise quarterback in this league. I do think he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks that this league has. I'm just not sure that he's a franchise changer and an uplifter, which is a term that I have continued to use on this show. But I also like low risk, high reward, and that's what trading for Justin Fields would be. $2.5 million in salary cap space is what it would take to bring on Justin Fields to your roster. And if you only have to give up a fourth-round pick and you believe that Brian Daboll is a quarterback whisperer, that should be music to the ears of Joe Schoen. Would he do it, though? Would you do it? Would you trade a fourth-round pick for Justin Fields? Let me know. Type T for trade, type P for pass. For me, if all it takes is a fourth-round pick, I would do it and I would almost wait. I would almost wait until the NFL draft. Say you strike out on Drake May. Say you strike out on Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, whatever it is. You strike out on those guys. And you get to day 2 of the NFL draft. The Chicago Bears call you up and say, hey, you give us your fourth-round pick, we'll trade you the 25-year-old Justin Fields. I would do it then. I would. I would still prioritize drafting a quarterback, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Jaden Daniels. But let's say you strike out on those guys, and you can get Justin Fields for a 2-year rental at a low price, and he's 25 years old, as guys like Spencer Rattler are 24 years old. I think it does make some sense. That is my take on Fields. Not the biggest fan, but I do think there is some juice still to be squeezed out of that player when it comes to him being productive in this league. We're going to talk about running backs the Giants could sign, as reports are coming out that Big Blue is interested in signing another running back after they already added Devin Singletary. But first, I got to tell you guys about my proud sponsor, 8 Sleep. Today's episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. And that's something that I need and I love about the pod cover. I'm someone that sweats easily when they sleep. I need it to be cold. I need the fan to be on even when it's 30 degrees out there. And now that I have been hooked up with 8 Sleep, the cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 50.5 degrees and up to 110 degrees. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. That's 8sleep.com/chatsports. Get $200 off plus free shipping when you order today. Alrighty, it sounds like some more moves could be coming for Joe Schoen and the New York Giants at the running back position. Ian Rappaport said this today on Twitter, quote, as the Packers have rebuilt their running back room, free agent running back A.J. Dillon has several options outside of Green Bay, with sources say he's looking at the Giants, Colts, and Cowboys. And I want to talk about this for a second. Sources say he's looking at the Giants. Are the Giants looking at him, or did Ian Rappaport get this text from A.J. Dillon's agent? Whatever it is, I've also heard from multiple people that the Giants want to add another running back. Let's talk about A.J. Dillon, and then we'll talk about some other top backs in free agency. There's one thing for sure. At 6 foot, 250 pounds, A.J. Dillon is a physical style of runner. He is a bruiser. He likes to run in the tackles. He runs downhill. He is a mean runner, and he is someone that likes to get dirty with it in the trenches. He likes to get active with it. He runs through arm tackles, and he would bring a physicality element to this team. I actually think a duo of him and Devin Singletary would be pretty nice. Thing is, his production has gone down every single year when it comes to yards per carry since he entered the league. As a rookie, 5.3, then 4.3, then 4.1, and 3.4. And what does that tell me? His best days are behind him, and he is starting to, I would say, take a step back with his talent. 3.4 yards per carry last year. Aaron Jones missed a good chunk of time last year for Green Bay. And A.J. Dillon didn't do that good of a job filling in his spot. And then when Aaron Jones got back, he was arguably the best running back in the NFL from week 16 to the time the Packers lost. I wouldn't be mad if they signed A.J. Dillon, but for me, it wouldn't be anything more than a one-year veteran minimum deal. Some other running backs that are on the market, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, coming off another serious injury. The injuries have really held him back from reaching his top potential in this league, but he is the guy that I would go out and sign if I was the New York Giants. I know there's some risk there with the injuries, and the Giants have really put a strong emphasis on signing guys that are dependable. But a guy in his career that in 24 games has almost 1,400 yards and 5.8 yards per carry, yeah, I'm interested in bringing a very, very talented back to my team. 1 year, cheap money. I'm sure he'll be looking for a little bit more. Let's go rapid fire through the rest of these guys. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also a running back that is available in free agency. Not all that interested in him. I really value yards per carry. I know it's not the only thing, and I like rushing yards over expected as well. But whenever your yards per carry is less than 4, that's a little bit troubling considering there was other backs in that Chiefs system that played well, like Isaiah Pacheco. I would pass on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know I just said yards per carry, but I'll say this. It'd be pretty damn funny if the New York Giants go out and sign Ezekiel Elliott. He plays for the Cowboys, and then you have Saquon Barkley playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. I would go out and give Zeke a 1-year veteran minimum deal. Bring him in. Goal line runner. We know he's one of the best in the NFL around the down to gain, yards to gain line, as well as around the goal line. He's got a nose for the end zone. I would not have a problem at all with bringing Ezekiel Elliott in. Another Kansas City Chiefs running back on the market is Jerick McKinnon. He's a little bit longer in the tooth, a little bit of an older guy, more of a pass catcher, so maybe the Giants look that way. I would probably pass, though, on Jerick McKinnon. Alexander Mattison of the Minnesota Vikings, 3.9 yards per carry. The only player in the NFL to have 180 carries last year, not score a touchdown. He was cut by the Minnesota Vikings. Not all that interested. I think there's other backs out there. One guy that is not better out there is Dalvin Cook, because he is absolutely cooked. I think everybody in New York saw that with the Jets he was no good. I am not interested in bringing in Dalvin Cook. A player I am interested in bringing in for a cheap 1-year veteran minimum deal is D'Onta Foreman, the bruising back. Very similar style to A.J. Dillon. He likes to get downhill, run in between the tackles, physical and violent style of runner. The Giants were also interested in signing D'Onta Foreman last offseason. So I think that's important to note. Giants had meetings with Foreman last year. He's a free agent again, but he's only really a runner. He's not a pass-catching back. He's not really a good pass protector as well. If you're looking for a guy that just likes to get downhill, Foreman could be your guy. Kareem Hunt re-signed with the Cleveland Browns midway through the season last year. He had 9 touchdowns, but he averages just 3 yards per carry. And for that, with the fact that he's older and aging and his best days behind him, I am probably out on Kareem Hunt. Giants could also do a really funny thing by going out and signing Boston Scott. It is always F Boston Scott, but I think it'd be pretty damn funny. If you're looking for a receiving back, a little shifty guy, give you some special teams capabilities, I think Scott could be your guy. Not sure how much interest they'll have. Rashad Penny, one of the more interesting case studies in the NFL last year. Eagles brought him in early on in free agency last year, thought he was going to be a big piece in the rushing attack, but DeAndre Swift had such a good year. Penny fell to the back of the line. I still think he has some talent, former first-round pick. I wouldn't mind kicking the tires on Rashad Penny and seeing if he could bring some juice to this football team. Damian Harris, last year, 23 carries, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. From Alabama, I actually think he might have been at Alabama when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator. But no, I'm good on the Damian Harris as well. Rico Dow, if you want to bring an NFC East back in, it's a guy you could look at, 6 foot, 215 pounds, physical style of runner. Thought he had some good games with the Dallas Cowboys, and I thought when the Giants played him, he popped a little bit. Wouldn't mind bringing him in. A guy that I've always loved in the league is Latavius Murray. He's just one of those guys that I always thought played the game the right way. He runs hard, and he's a physical freak at 6'3", 230 pounds. I would love for Latavius Murray to be a member of this football team, but nothing more than a cheap 1-year deal, potentially for the veteran minimum. We just went through like 13 running backs, the top guys that are left. Name a free agent running back you want the Giants to sign. I would say J.K. Dobbins, Ezekiel Elliott, and then probably A.J. Dillon are my top 3. Give me one guy you want to see the Giants sign, as it's being reported that they are interested in adding another running back. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm bringing the news all week long, all year long, everything Giants all the time, at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as Instagram. Hit me up over there. Hit the thumbs up icon on your way out, and let's go Big Blue.